Number one, begin having conversations and keep it real as much as
Keep it
possible.
real.
Yes, yes.
And when you're keeping it real, Deepma, then it comes back to what you were saying. Show your vulnerability. I
Yeah.
made a mistake. Oh God, I burnt the rice today. I made a mistake. Maybe sometimes mommy's tired and mommy also makes mistakes. Look what I did.
Yeah, look what I
I don't
did.
know how to make this well. We will ask that Seema auntie. She knows how to make this dish very well. Next time,
Absolutely.
one simple thing like that, and the kid
Yeah.
says, "Oh, so my mom's not the perfect cook, but it's okay to ask someone else."
Hi, we are the Confident Communicator, and I am Seema Mehta, along with my partner Deepma Jadeja. Welcome to Imperfect Parenting. Together, let's get on a journey of discovering kindness, success, and happiness courageously, fearlessly, and by holding ourselves to a standard of grace, not perfection. It is our mission at the Confident Communicator to empower kids and adults discover their own uniqueness through our coaching, training, and soft skills program. We welcome you to a new chapter of Imperfect Parenting, a series dedicated to discovering our own uniqueness without judgment by chiseling away all superfluous materials within ourselves.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Imperfect Parenting with the Confident Communicator. I am joined, as always, by Seema Mehta, my co-founder, business partner, and friend. At Imperfect Parenting, our goal is twofold. Most of you already know this, that parents accept and acknowledge their own imperfections authentically and honestly, so as to be able to accept their children's imperfections as well. That's very important to us, right? And we
Yes.
also want to encourage parents, all parents out there, to be vulnerable and imperfect around their kids, because the ability and the courage to be vulnerable and to even be open of your own shortcomings. You know how children get so frustrated with us when we say, when I was a kid, when I was younger, when I was your age, and they're rolling their eyes. So why not accept our own shortcomings and say, you know what, when I was a kid, I had very similar problems or very similar issues with my children. As Brené Brown says, vulnerability opens up so many doors to connecting and building trust with others, including our own children.
Yeah.
And now, if you live in Bangalore, our guest today, Dr. Zulfia Sheikh, needs no introduction. But I'm going to say a couple of things about her for our viewers who are outside of Bangalore. Zulfia has founded the Bangalore School of Speech and Drama, lovingly known as BSSD in Bangalore, in 1998.
Wow.
She is a doctor by profession and a teacher, communication expert, and actor by passion. Her goal at BSSD is to expand the reach of performance arts and communication skills and empower children to approach the world undaunted and compete and perform on an equal footing as their peers from other countries. Zulfia, is the only Indian to have received the licentiate level in teaching communication skills and drama from the Trinity College of London, both communication and drama. She has created a learning environment that not only teaches the skills, but fosters the behaviors that builds our new generation of confident, articulate, and fearless leaders. Welcome, Zulfia. We're so honored to have you here.
Very happy to see you.
Thank you so much for having me, Deepma. And now I'm going to be going forward burdened under this huge introduction, whereas actually I'm just doing my own thing. That's it.
And that's changing lives. Thank you.
I actually want to ask you a question, which is probably not in what we had earlier envisioned, but because we talked about it just before we hit the record button, and you mentioned something very, very critical. I think that's something that everybody should hear, is that everything you do should be aligned with your purpose. So tell us about what aligned you to your purpose and how did you begin this journey? Because that is, I think a lot of people don't understand the difference between setting a goal and having a purpose. Can you explain that and clarify that for us?
Okay, I'm happy to tell my story about how I set out in this journey and how I've got here where I am today. I won't go into great detail, but at least I'll tell you the beginning part of the journey. And I must tell you this, Seema and Deepma, that one doesn't always start with a big purpose.
Correct.
You start with a search.
Yes.
You start with a desire to find something meaningful. There are very few people I know in the world who say, this is what I want to be, and end up being exactly that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like I tell my students and anyone who's willing to listen, that every stream and river originates in the mountain somewhere and flows into the ocean someday at some point, always. Okay. However, it never flows straight. Its path is always meandering.
Yep.
It meets tributaries. It gives out distributaries. It goes all over the place till it finally flows into
the ocean. Yeah.
So if we can just get that, we need to start with maybe a search, maybe at least a recognition of this is not it.
Yes.
Right.
Because when we are young, there is so much social conditioning. You need to be this. And I was a victim of that. I come from a family of 4 siblings and I was the oldest. So there was that typical pressure growing up at that time that you need to do this. So you need to be a doctor.
Yes.
Yeah. So I became a doctor because saying no to your parents at that time was an unheard of.
Nobody, yeah, we never did that. Yeah.
Of it. So I went ahead and did what I thought is the right thing to do.
Expected of you. Yeah.
Yes. And I did it. And me being me, look, I am a maverick soul. So me being me, I didn't see why I had to do only one thing. So it was, okay, I've compromised on a big part. See, here's the thing. Those little moments of insight come to you on the way. Right. Once I started my journey as a doctor, because at that time, if you got a certain percentage, it was, well, you're scoring like this. Why wouldn't you do medicine?
Exactly.
Always about your score. It was always about your mark sheet. And actually, 30 years down, nothing has changed. It's still about the mark.
It's still the same. And it sort of starts defining who you are. And then it also leads you to a path that you are meant to do, but that's actually not true. Yeah.
So somewhere along the way, on that journey, I realized, hey, my heart is not singing.
Yes.
And I also discovered when we used to do our rounds in the wards, that's a ritual. We have to, it's a hard life, guys. Anyone who's thinking of medicine, it's a hard life. So lectures begin at 9, but we had to be there at 7 because we did our rounds before the doctors came, because we had to report to them. And I noticed it just by default. Every time we did the rounds, you see students go in a group. I was the one who was always invariably picked to talk to the patient. Because he said, the patient will talk to you. He will say to you what he won't say to us.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize it. Now in hindsight, I see that I was, I connected with people. I see that in hindsight. Anyway, that happened with my journey. And then somewhere in my second year of medicine, third year, I got married because I said, well, I don't see why I should wait. So again, everyone, I raised a lot of eyebrows. My parents were exasperated because it's that this girl she's intelligible. So I just married the man I loved and we got married. We started life. And then I said, okay, so why stop at this? I don't see why I should hold my life back. So I had my daughter when I was in the 4th year.
Oh, wow.
And then,
so you broke all the rules right there.
Whose rules? Listen, I was doing the world a favor, so I thought, by doing medicine. So don't push more on me. Yeah. So I had my daughter when I was in the 4th year. And then I had my son when I was doing internship. And the plan was perfect because he was supposed to come 15 days after I completed my internship. But kids do this to you. He came a month early.
Oh.
So I completed my internship after he was born. But that was that. And then I took a 2-year break and went back to college to specialize because, again, another moment of insight for me. I had now become a doctor. I was now supposed to have arrived, but I didn't feel it. Then I said something is missing. So I need to let me go and study some more. And so I went back and did a couple of specializations, had a 3rd kid, and then moved cities. From Bombay, I came to Bangalore. Now what happened was, And by now I was also practicing. So I was running a practice, a small practice of my own, an independent practice when I came to Bangalore, which was in the year 1995, when it was still a beautiful cantonment city.
Yes.
It
Garden
was
City.
so exciting from Bombay to come to Bangalore and see this beautiful city with trees,
So, and beautiful weather. Yes.
glorious weather.
Yeah.
And my kids used to get asked, where did you learn to speak like this? Because they were different from their classmates.
Yes, yeah.
And then I'd get called to school and it was, can you work with a bunch of our kids? We're having an annual day, we're having this. And before I knew it, from one school to the next, I was then working with almost every ICSE school in Bangalore. That time, there were no international schools.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was Malayaditi, but everything else came after that.
Yeah.
All of international schools. So I was working with all the ICSE schools. And I was loving it because I discovered then that I love to work with kids. I had not known that till then.
Correct.
I had only worked with my kids. And also I come from a family of teachers. So as every young person ever, I had decided I will never do what my mother has done and what my grandmother has done and what my aunts, because they're a family of teachers. So I swore never to be a teacher.
As we all do. You have to kind of...
I will never do what my mother did. I will go the other way. I will run in the opposite direction. But life had its own plan. See, for me. And so I was doing this pro bono, never made a rupee out of it. I didn't want to. I was having fun. And I noticed that some schools would ask me to do elocution. Some schools would say, hey, can you do a Shakespeare workshop? So let's say for grade 9 and 10, I was doing Shakespeare workshops. For 11 and 12, I was doing debating workshops. For the little ones, I was doing storytelling. I was doing some debate. Different schools had different requirements. Then they started saying, these are our kids. Can you train them for an inter-school competition? And I'd say, okay. And invariably come back with the trophies. And this got bigger and bigger and more intense with time. I was also pulled into the judging circuit. Wherever there was a competition, I was called as a judge. So whether it was Rotary or Lions Club or any inter-school or any inter-collegiate fest, I was judging IIMs and all of those. It reached a point, I'll tell you, again, another moment of insight. See, life is...
It's that journey,
And through life, you get various moments of insights. It's like a shot. It's like one shot, 100 volts here, 100 volts there, 100 volts there. And then it's up to you to connect those dots.
Correct.
Everything that I've been seeing throughout. And another such moment was, for me, was one day when I was sitting, I think it was a Rotary Club competition that I was judging. And I looked at the mark sheet, at the judging sheet, and I saw the names of the schools. And I kid you not, I saw the names and I said, oh, Bishop Cotton Boys, I know who's coming. Oh, LPS Indranagar, I know who's coming. Oh, Bishop Cotton Girls, Cathedral, I know who's coming. I knew the kids who would turn up. And I was right. I was right every time. Frank Anthony, I know who's coming. And then I said, this is not okay. I know who's coming, which means the schools are picking the same kids over and over
again.
Yes.
Another moment of insight. I realized no matter how fancy the school, no matter the swimming pool or the tennis classes, it's all about the lobby, the front foyer, where they have this grand showcase.
Yeah, they have those trophies everywhere.
It's about that. That's what it's about. We need Dr. Zulfia because she's going to ensure we get some more trophies in that cupboard.
Right.
So I started talking to principals of various schools. Now I won't take names, but I remember the words and I remember what they told me. But Dr. Zulfia, these are good in elocution. But Dr. Zulfia, these are good in drama.
Yeah.
And I said, no, give me new kids.
Yeah.
I trained in grade 8. I'm still working with that child in grade 11 or 12. And there's something wrong with that.
Yeah.
These are good. So then I said, all right. So now life had given me enough of moments of insight. It was time to take a step. And I realized I could either grumble about the system or get up and do something about it. And I chose the latter. Thank God for that. I decided that the city needed an institute where anyone anyone could come.
That's your purpose. Your purpose is starting to form.
Now your purpose is starting to form,
Yes.
coalesce. Yeah.
Yes, where you, an institute, not a fly-by-night hobby class.
Yeah, yeah.
That was never the intention. Come and
Yes.
learn a poem and perform on stage.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
An institute with a formal curriculum, starting from grassroots upwards, starting from the foundation. And my vision was very clear. I would teach children theater, but also teach them communication.
Yes.
Correct.
Because it is so important. And here you and I are going to be absolutely on the same page that it's everything.
Totally. Yes.
How they present themselves to the world is everything. So this needed to be an institute where kids could come and learn, because there was no place where they could go to do such a thing. And that's how the Bangalore School of Speech and Drama then came to life.
Awesome.
Completely. Oh my God, what a beautiful journey. And I love the way you talked about a river that starts from the mountain and then meanders its way, goes round and round, and then eventually reaches the ocean. And that tipping point of reaching the ocean is such an exhilarating, I'm sure, experience for you, because that aha moment suddenly comes. And I think the tip that I would give to a lot of the parents who are listening to this is that allow them to meander. Don't be in a hurry to decide that that's the ocean they need to go to. We're doing these categories, but let's not do that so early on.
Yes. And
I had to.
Yes,
no, go ahead, Zulfia.
Here, Seema, I will say this statement of mine and what you are reiterating now, you will find a lot of people our age are now going to be in agreement. They will say yes. When you tell them about the river that originates from the mountain, will flow into the ocean, and the story of the meandering, everyone will say yes. By default, every head is going to nod, because we're all looking back on our journey.
Our own lives, yeah.
However, what happens to us to apply
it comes to our kids?
Yes, apply that same logic and reasoning to your children. What happens to us then?
I think
I have to ask this question here then. I have to kind of interject and ask this, because I remember when I met you, Zulfia, about 12 years ago, I think, when I came with my daughter. And I, despite being a communications trainer, at that time I was in corporate training, despite knowing about the importance of communication and also knowing about the impact that parents have and parents and teachers labels have on the children, I came into your office and I said, my daughter's introverted, she's shy. The teacher says she never talks up in class, she never asks questions, she never raises her hand, and I want her to become more confident. Can you help her, Zulfia? And I remember your answer where you told me about labels, and you told me about how dangerous it was to kind of put labels. And that has been my inspiration throughout my journey as a communications skills trainer, right from the adult training to now children's training as well. So can you tell us about how dangerous and how important it is that we don't put these labels on?
Yeah.
Because of the burden, right? That we
No, and I think it's also a matter of the parents' own fears and their own. They are afraid themselves, and they're kind of imposing those fears on their children.
Yeah,
it's very easy to, like you said, nod at this logic of the river meandering. But when it comes to your kids, your fear suddenly manifests like this huge demon, and suddenly it kind of clouds everything that you are thinking about, which is right for your child, and then the labeling and everything kind of follows after that.
Yeah.
So now, let me say one thing here, a disclaimer right in the beginning. As parents, I'm a parent, you're a parent. As parents, let us not be too harsh on ourselves, because we are also products of the system. We are trying to do one better than our parents did. They were, and when we were young, we were so busy condemning them, but they were trying to do one better than
their best. Yeah, correct.
Yes.
So it's just the cycle of nature. Our kids are going to try to do one better than us. And then 40, 50 years down the line, they will realize in hindsight, oh, actually, it wasn't so bad. My parents there was some sense in it. Today, I thank my mother for making me, pushing me to become a doctor, because it was an integral, very important part of my journey. It made me who I am. But so, number one, let us not be too hard on ourselves. Number two is, now having said that and put that out of the way since I said it, here's the thing. we read self-help books. We listen to motivational talks. That's our jam.
Yep.
That's our jam. There are different kinds of people, and depending on which class of intellectual bandwidth you belong to, we are doing different things. So some of us will listen to podcasts. Some of them will listen to motivational speakers and start our day with something. All of us are searching. We're searching for an answer. Okay, there is a search. And we're absorbing it also. So we've all heard walk the talk. We get it. Yes, we should walk the talk. We all hear, hey, kids need to have their own personality, positive language, we know all of that. We know the jargon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why is it so hard to implement it?
Why? Yes.
Here, one step back if we take, let us also consider the environment we are living in. This it's a developing nation.
Yeah.
We are living in an environment where it's dog eat dog. We are among the privileged, you and I probably, so we can send our kids to a school of our choice. But let us not be blind. This is our problem. We live with blinkers. And we need to knock those blinkers off in every area of life. Because otherwise, we're all living in this crazy bubble. We need to look outside it and help our kids to look outside it. But if you're talking of imperfect parenting, I'm going to go back to parents. Let's talk about us. Because the kids are fine. It's us, right?
Yeah.
So what is happening to us when we know the words, we know the jargon, the 5-second rule, Tony Robbins, Mel Robbins, this, that, and the other, Sadhguru, everybody, hey, you name it, we know it, we can quote them. But when there is a moment when tomorrow's an exam and your child is not studying today, all hell breaks loose. What happens to our rationality at that point?
Exactly.
So I think here's the mistake we make, and let me say, everything that I'm saying, I'm not preaching to anyone in the world. It's a reminder to myself.
Yeah.
I'm saying this to me. I'm saying this because I need to remember it. I need to say this to myself. It's important. And I need this reminder every day. We can talk about a million beautiful habits, or we can talk about the tiny things, the micro habits, which is the new thing now, the little things, or you can do the secret, you can do anything. Why is it not transcending into our lives? Because there's no space for it. There's no room for something to come in. Something must go.
Yeah. It has to leave you. Yeah.
Yes. Also, you and I, most adults I talk to, which is the difference? See, I'm spoiled. I work with kids, so I'm spoiled for the world. Because with kids, it's real. What you see is what you get. And it's lovely.
Yeah.
When I'm working with adults, I have to reset in my head. I have to reset because I know that I'm going to have to translate everything I'm hearing. What I'm hearing is not, I have to read between the lines.
Correct.
And we've become experts at that. And that is sad because we're not able to keep it real. Now, what I'm saying is, if you come to me with your cup full,
yes,
anything I pour is going to flow out of it.
Yep.
You need to come with an empty cup. So when you're listening to those XYZ talks, are you willing to let go of something that you already have?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a simple thing. You can start small. You sit at a particular place at the dining table because you think that's your place. So it's just an unspoken rule. This is daddy's place. This is mom's place. This is switch places. See how you feel. Can you take it? It's disturbing because change is uncomfortable.
Do you think that, let's look at, because you said you are spoiled because you are around, you're with kids all the time. We have the same experience here. Sometimes when you're a child, right? When you're a child, you have this freedom where you say, I can be an astronaut, I can be a firefighter, I can be a doctor, I can be a football player. There's a sense of freedom that children experience. And when we interact with them, we see that energy.
Yeah.
In our work, we see a lot of older kids also, the ones who are just about to go to college. And that energy has now started fading.
Yeah.
Right? So when they're very young, we see that energy, that freedom, that I can do anything I want to. And as they grow older, we start to see that energy slightly dissipating and fading away. And then when you become this full-blown adult, you suddenly are in an environment where you feel like, I really don't have a choice. So I think that freedom just disappears. And I think you're absolutely right that you got to be willing to accept that I am willing to make a change. If I'm listening to all of these things, am I willing to adapt to it? What is the trigger that is causing
I
me
just
to
want to
feel this way?
complete. Sorry, Seema. I just want to
No worries.
complete that thought. I want to just finish what I was saying.
Sure.
When I'm saying we're talking about big changes, when we're talking about fixing our parenting, we're talking about big changes. And I'm saying if that is difficult, start small. Start with a small change. So you can start with a small thing of, I'm not going to ask her whom she was talking to right now. Maybe it could be something as small as this.
Yeah.
To build trust.
Right.
Correct.
I'm also, so it's taking a step back. And I'm not saying everything goes. You've got to set parameters and boundaries. And I'm famous for that. My students also know that it's not that anything can fly. I'm very clear about boundaries. You can do this much and not, you can't go beyond this.
This far and no further. Yeah.
So set your boundaries, but within the boundaries, can we stop? Because a lot of what we do is just out of compulsion.
Yes.
The helicopter parenting is not really nurturing.
Yes.
It's not out of compulsion, curiosity. I want to know.
Yeah.
Do we have the character to not open your child's diary if it's lying there? You have the character. I tell my kids, character is what you do when no one's looking.
Correct.
We have the character. So I'm just saying, start small, baby steps, and making an agreement with your kid that,
also character is revealed when something goes wrong, right? That's when character is revealed.
And Seema, then it's too late. So the time to fix it is when things are good and great. Right now, to build a relationship of trust, to build that. And the second thing I would say is, of course, number one, build that relationship of trust, which means give to get. As parents, we demand a lot. We demand respect. We demand transparency. But we are not transparent because we say, oh, you don't need to know this. This is adult.
Yeah.
There are some things they don't need to know. But when it becomes evident, then you can't say, okay,
don't pretend.
Then you have to say, okay, we are having this problem and we need to find a solution.
Yeah, I so agree with that, Zulfia. They're watching us.
You are not transparent, but you want them to be transparent. You are not honest. Someone calls and say, oh, see, mama's sleeping. You are not honest, but you want them to be honest. Right? So we need to
have like double standards.
And also one more thing. We all love is so overrated. We love our pets. We love that cup of tea we have early morning in the balcony. Okay. So don't talk to me about love. Let's deal with respect here. Can you respect your child because you're demanding respect?
Yes.
So are you respectful in your tone, in your conversation, in your language? Are you respectful?
Great point.
You know the language that is spoken?
Yeah.
How many times should I explain? Are you stupid? Teachers actually say this.
Yes.
And that kid is never going to raise her hand again in class.
Yes, of course.
You've killed it.
Yeah, you killed it.
So now coming to the next thing that you say is, what happens to us when we are little? I want to be an astronaut. Then you grow a little older and say, oh no, I think I'll be a scientist because astronaut is too much. It's out of my reach. So I'll be a scientist. Then when you're a little older, I'll try. I must get into IIT. You see, we are straight-jacketing them.
Yeah.
And the path becomes
chipping away.
And don't you think as you grow, your path should be wider and wider?
Yeah.
What we've done is we've constricted them to a point where they can't breathe anymore.
It's like a funnel.
Yeah. And our language, see, that's why the kids, then they cannot think.
Yeah.
We want them, when they go for a job interview, they're expected to think out of the box. You didn't let them think in the box.
You put them in the box. Yeah. How do you expect them?
Even in that, you didn't let them think.
Yeah.
You told them instructionally. Yeah.
When they were babies, have you finished writing what's on the copy, what's on the board? Have you finished? Put your head down. What do you mean put your head down? But put your head down. Teachers do that to kindergartners.
Yeah.
Put your head down. Raise your hand when you want to go to the toilet. No, you cannot drink water. And then when you're a full-blown adult, think outside the box. How
The
unreasonable.
irony, yeah, the irony.
The irony of that, I know. And the irony comes out even with one of the things that Seema and I are extremely passionate about, and that is starting conversations with children very, very young. Having conversations, and like we said in the beginning, right? Allowing yourself to be vulnerable, allowing yourself to be wrong,
Or
allowing yourself
imperfect.
to be imperfect,
Yes.
questioned. Because the reason that we are so big on those conversations when they're 5, 7, 8, 9, 11, 14 years old is because when you've set the tone of who you are as a parent, you're not going to be not listened to or pushed away when they're 15, 16, 17, when they have to have those crucial conversations with you, and they don't. They shy away from them, they hide from you, they lie about it, they take advice from sources that may not be the best for them, because we've never done it when they were 5, when they were 7, because our entire, I remember Avi telling me this and it broke my heart and it changed me overnight, literally, is he said, Mom, some in school they were asked, describe your mother. How's your mother? And someone said angel, and someone said fairy, and someone said beautiful, and someone said very sweet and kind and all. And my son says, my mother's like a police officer. She's always like, telling me things to do. And I was in the audience and I was mortified. I was so mortified. And I realized that's what I was doing. I was being instructional as opposed to conversational. And from then on, we have made it our passion in life to kind of encourage parents to open up and just have these not so crucial conversations now, so that the crucial conversations ke liye, the darwaza is open when you are in, when you have a 17, 18-year-old who's in trouble. So what do you think about that? What do you think about how do parents start opening these doors with their children early on in life?
I would say don't baby talk. I have never baby talked my kids. When
That's
they are
interesting.
5 and 6 months old, I guess that's okay. Till they are,
Yeah.
it's
Cutie little things. Yeah.
yeah, it's cute to do the to outreach. It's only cute to a point. But kids are learning every second. They are growing.
Yes.
If you study anything about child growth, both physical and mental, you'd stop in your tracks.
Yeah.
Because it's nothing, no creature, nothing grows like the way a kid grows in the first 2 years of their life. It's the physical growth and the mental growth is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
and I we are not a speck on that spectrum, nothing to their growth. If we can just stop and think what's happening inside that little head, we would rethink our strategy completely.
True.
Correct.
So I feel that, listen, you are the conversations you have, right? So if you talk to your child about everything, when you start to, I have always spoken like an adult to them. They've responded like an adult.
Yeah.
And mind you, that is not forcing your child to grow up, because then you decide what you want to talk about. It's not I'm going to talk about existential questions to children. It's not that. But it's about a normal thing. Hey, we need to brush our teeth because if I don't, I'm going to have this issue. So I've had a problem. I ended up at a dentist because I didn't do. So I think now we should do this. So I'm going to do it. So would you like to join me? So logical explanations. Can I go to the park at 7:30 in the evening? No, you can't. But why can't you?
Yeah, explain. Yeah.
Because it's dark. But so what if it's dark? There are lights. Then you need to explain. Okay, there may be lights, but when it gets dark, people start going home. It may not be safe. You might meet people there might be strangers, and we don't talk to strangers. Or there might be little creatures that come out. A snake can come in the garden. See, you don't know. A stray dog can walk in. It's not safe because at night the environment changes. What's wrong in explaining it once?
Yeah.
I'm amazed how kids will listen, absorb, and then stop. And because our conversation and our explanation to our kids is never logical.
Yes.
We set a rule because also, let me tell you, what you and I are trying to do now, it's hard work. And we are tired. So we are earning the bread, running the kitchen, looking after supervising the maid, paying the bills, getting food on the table. And on top of that, every time your kid asks a question, you want me to sit down and have a 1 hour conversation? No, thank you.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Oh, no, no.
Yes, I get it. I get it. But that
But,
kid didn't ask
yeah.
to be born. But that kid didn't ask to be born.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can choose not to have kids, or you can choose to have one kid, or you can choose to have 3 like me or 10. But when you have that kid, then you owe it to them.
Correct.
Yes.
I wish there was a shorter way out, but there
Yep.
isn't.
Yeah.
Yes, what you can do is on a very stressful day, you can say, baby, not today, but I promise you this weekend I'm going to sit and talk about this, and then go back.
Correct.
So,
Definitely go back. Put an alarm. Yeah.
so there are things. So number one, like Deepma, you said conversations. You need to start early and you need to be real. Just let's keep it real. Let's
Authentic. Yeah. Authentic.
Let's not create one fake world, a Santa Claus world. Baby Santa Claus will come and drop a toy in your lap. I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah.
But we create that Santa Claus world all the time.
Yeah.
Everything happens by magic. Don't worry.
Don't worry. Yeah.
Yeah, I always wonder why. I mean, I understand that we need to protect our children from a lot of harsh realities that the world has. But I think sometimes we do them more harm by kind of hiding everything and making it very fluffy and saying, oh, there's a Santa Claus world around here.
Yes.
Sometimes the children really need to know, okay, listen, you cannot go to the park after dark because there will be strangers who can pick you and kidnap you and stuff can happen.
Also,
So yeah, you have to be authentic.
and, and depends on what age your child is and how much you want to tell the child.
Exactly.
But you still need to, or if it's a 2-year-old baby, you can say, you don't want to talk about kidnapping, you can say, listen, it's a park, the snakes will come out, there'll be creatures, there'll be insects, there could be rats, big rats that come out, something can bite you, you'll get hurt. That's why it's dangerous. So we come the day, because the animals don't come out in the day. So there are some things that walk around in the day, which is us.
Yes.
And there are some things that come out at night. And so you don't go out in the night. It's a simple explanation.
Correct.
So you can grade your explanation according to the level of your child and the ability of the child to absorb. But there's no excuse for not keeping it real.
Yes.
Correct. Absolutely. Being authentic is the most important thing, I think, in any conversation. I was listening to something about cues. There are 96 cues in your body. And if you cannot be authentic, there is no form of communication that will happen if you cannot be authentic. You will not connect with the other person unless there is some level of authenticity. And that's so important, even with parents and children. You have to be authentic.
And you'll never be believable.
Yeah, exactly.
And we are all talking about trust.
Yeah. I think that what you're saying is this is really about parenting out of respect. There is a lot of respect. When I explain something to you, I respect you enough to explain. Otherwise, I will not explain it to you. I won't bother.
Yeah.
So I think there is a bit of respect also happening here.
Yeah.
So number one, begin having conversations and keep it real as much as possible.
Keep it real.
Yes.
And when you're keeping it real, Deepma, then it comes back to what you were saying. Show your vulnerability.
Yeah.
I made a mistake. Oh God, I burnt the rice today. I made a mistake. Maybe sometimes mommy's tired and mommy also makes mistakes. Look what I did.
Look what I did.
don't know how to make this well. We will ask that Seema auntie, she knows how to make this dish very well. Next time,
absolutely.
When one simple thing like that, and the kid says, oh, so my mom's not the perfect cook, but it's okay to ask someone else.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're normalizing it. You're normalizing mistakes. You're normalizing asking for help. All of these things. Yeah.
And here, when it comes to vulnerability, I have to add one little thing. At some point, somehow, mothers still will exhibit some degree of vulnerability. There are moments being a woman being a woman when she will break down and cry.
Mm-hmm.
There are moments when she will be overwhelmed and she'll put the sheet over her head and say, I can't, and she'll cry. And that time the kids know, hey, mommy is disturbed. Oh, we stepped over the line. So she shows the vulnerability. Dads have a huge problem showing their vulnerability. So dads don't. And another very, very, very dangerous area. See, when dads don't show their vulnerability, that's also going to affect children, especially boys, because their father is their role model. But somehow within the home, the mother is the cushion. She is this woman who has the 10 hands, so she's doing everything and she somehow evens it out. In a home where a father is an alcoholic, the woman still nurtures the kids somehow and tries to bring them out whole.
Yes.
Protect them in that environment.
Yes.
But the child gets hurt most when a teacher refuses to show her vulnerability. Teachers refuse to admit that they can be wrong. teachers generally, and by and large, I'm talking about the rule, not the exception here, but by and large, a teacher will never stand up in class and say, you know, kids, that day I said this,
I messed up. Yeah,
wrong. I was wrong.
I
A
was wrong.
teacher never, and that is something so, I feel that does so much damage.
I agree.
How
I
can
completely agree.
you've trusted your child to the system, to that educational system where your child is going to be there for 12 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, or 14 years if you count kindergarten and nursery. And that's the environment. The child is spending 7-8 hours there and living in an environment where it's not real.
I think
adults are never wrong.
many of these stakeholders in raising children, we have glorified them so much. Like we glorify parents, we glorify the teachers, we glorify principals. All of these people are glorified in our society, and that's the conditioning, right? That teacher is like guru is everything.
Yes, I have done this several times. It has happened. I mean, there are a few moments in time in my so many years of teaching where I've come across a word and I've said, I'm not sure. I don't know whether you should pronounce it like this or like this. Hang on. I'll go and bring the thesaurus, bring the dictionary. Wait, let me see. And then I'll tell. Earlier I would do that. Now the kids have their instruments also. So I'll say, okay, you Google it, and I'm going to do old school. So I will go back to my old school thesaurus. They will Google and they say, Auntie, yeah, listen to this. And I will listen to it. And I will say, okay. Then I'll find it and I'll say, but my thesaurus says this. Then I will say, okay. So there's an American pronunciation and there's the British.
Yeah.
And so we are going to do this. But now we know. So in case you said this, you're still right.
Yeah.
The ideal, I would say this.
Yeah.
I've opened it out. So I did so many things through that process. I showed them that, hey, I'm not perfect. Number one, I am not perfect. Don't expect perfection from me.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Number two, it's okay to admit your mistake. And number three, let's together go back and fix it.
Figure it out. Yeah.
Let's figure it out. Number four, I can learn from you. You might know something I don't. Hey, can you Google it for me? Oh, wow, you're faster than me. I learned from you.
Correct. Absolutely. And it gives the confidence to the child that, okay, I am capable of helping my teacher out. Yeah.
And finally, the biggest lesson of all, just because I don't know a word or two does not mean I cannot contribute to your life.
Yes.
I'm still
I'm still credible. Yeah.
I'm a teacher. I will still contribute to your life. I'm still very good at what I do, but I don't know everything.
Yeah.
I'm a good actor, but I'm not Meryl Streep. I'm not Benedict Cumberbatch. So let's learn, guys. Go and watch this play because I will go and watch it to learn. I'm learning.
Yes. That's what I think vulnerability is. Very often vulnerability is associated with, then they won't respect me. If I show that I don't know, then they won't respect me. So then I should, I need to have this veneer on the top, which then, but the children these days really, what happens is they respect you even less. Because when they go back home and they find out you were wrong,
children at all times, and more so today, can see right through you.
Yes.
You can't fool them for a second. Why would you even try? You can't fool them for a second. So don't. And by showing them your vulnerability, what have you done? I'll come back to what Seema said. Why do they get jaded as they grow older?
Yeah.
When you show them you're vulnerable, you have eliminated that stress of being perfect right away at the basic.
Right in the beginning. Yes.
So they grow up, and then when they grow up, they'll say, hey, I don't know this, but it's okay.
Correct.
Okay,
I'll figure it out. The whole concept of self-efficacy. Yes.
And
you see so many children in the corporate world, the entrance into the corporate world, making mistakes and then going to great lengths to hide the mistake, right? Because they're afraid to admit that they made a mistake.
Because that's the response, right? You will be punished. If you make a mistake, you'll be punished. You get a bad score, then you'll not go into college, then this will happen. We keep saying the same story again and again.
Consequences.
All the time. That's the story our children are hearing. You don't do well in school, you do bad, get bad marks, you will not get into a good college, then you'll not get a good job, then you'll not succeed in life, and that story has to change. I think that story has to change.
What do we do as parents? We need to take a step back and just think for a second, what did we want? And create that environment for our child. We didn't like being picked on. We didn't like being told what to do. Don't do it to your kids. We wanted But there were times when we wanted to be dancers and painters, and we were made scientists and engineers and doctors. Well, don't do it to your kids.
Yeah.
I know it's funny when I talk to my 16-year-old and I tell her, you know what, don't take so much pressure. I mean, I had no idea what I wanted to do at the age of 16, and I'm not supposed to know. Why are you but she's so burdened by the idea that, oh, I better be clear about what I want to do because I have to apply to colleges very soon. I got to be very clear. And I said, no, you don't need to be clear. It is fine. It is fine if you don't know. You are at that exploratory, meandering stage. Keep meandering. You will figure it out.
Yes.
And
But-
have as many experiences
so
as
much pressure.
possible. But I want to touch upon, Zulfia, earlier you mentioned about purpose and having how you're always searching for your purpose, right? And then you get these electric shocks all along the way, the insights that you got along the way that may have switched your purpose a little bit or moved you in another direction.
Yes.
I'm noticing a lot of us are asking children as young as 10 and 11 years old, what's your passion? And somewhere I'm starting to wonder, why should they know their passion that they're stuck in for
By
the next
15,
100
16.
years?
Yeah, by
By
15,
10, 11, 14, 15. I mean, there are so many times when I say, I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. And so, like Peter Pan, right? You just say, I'm going to just go through life and allow life to kind of take me in different directions and make it a wonderful thing. So what do you think about the question, what's your passion, discovering your passion, or being allowed to explore
And even worse than
multiple
that,
passions? Yes.
no, right, Deepma. What's your passion is still a slightly better question than what do you want to be when you
be, rather than who you should be. The
Yes.
question should be, who do you want to be, not what do you want to be.
experiment often with my students.
Bingo.
I ask them, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I get all kinds of answers. And then I say, well, all of it, all wrong answers. There's only one right answer to this. When someone asks you, what do you want to be when you grow up? You say, I want to be happy.
Yes.
Period.
Absolutely.
Period.
That's it.
I want to be happy.
Yeah.
What will I do when I grow up is a whole different ballgame. And
Yeah.
you can do many different things. But what do you want to be? I want to be happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the
Wow, once you've identified that, now you see what feeds into
So you
it.
got to link
Yeah.
your purpose to happiness, not to things, and not to. I think we're chasing all these other things, while our purpose should be linked to happiness, not all these other things.
we are, for all our smartness, we are doing what our parents did. We are living our dreams through our kids.
Yeah, and that's not okay.
In our attempt to overprotect them, we want to provide for their future. We want to ensure that my son can then buy a 3-bedroom flat. And
Yeah, I hear so many parents say that. You know what? It's very important to go to a great college. Why? Because you get your foot in the door, and that will take you to a great career. Then you'll have that 3-bedroom, 5-bedroom apartment. All of these things.
Sometimes the foot in the door also does not ensure a great career. You might get your foot in the door and then comes crashing down. It has happened to people.
Yeah.
It has happened to people.
Yeah.
In this day and age, we as parents need to console ourselves, because look around. The opportunities that exist today did not exist 10 years ago.
Right.
Today, it's a day and time of opportunity.
So broad, so many opportunities.
You could do anything.
Anything you want. Yeah.
Anything, absolutely. And make a living out of it.
We had 3 streams, arts, science, and commerce, and you have to pick one of them. That's it. That's all it was.
It was supposed to be for those who didn't get a good score.
Exactly. And I remember my parents telling me, you got such a great score. Why do you want to go into arts? And I said, no, but I want to go into arts. And they said, no, nothing doing.
So for me also, it was the same. With this percentage, why would you do arts? I always wanted to be a journalist.
Yeah.
And so that door was just shut for me. Okay, I get it. But did I undo that?
Yes.
Did I, when my turn came, did I not go down that same path? I think so. And it was conscious effort. I remember my daughter did her ISC with science, and ISC is a very hard curriculum. And she did her board exams, and then she was preparing for her CET. And one day before I remember the next morning was her CET, and she was this good student. And whatever that means. And she was, next morning was her CET exam. And I sat with her. I could see her stress because the kid is like, she's not able to eat and sleep. And I sat with her and I said, Mash, I want to ask you one question. She said, what is it? I said, do you really want to do this? And she said, don't. Don't start this with me. And I said, no, breathe. I'm not stopping you. Breathe, baby, breathe. But do you really want to do medicine? Because she was doing CET to get into a medical college.
Yeah.
And the answer blew me away. For me, this, so-called enlightened soul who had now done everything different, I had jumped the fence from medicine. Now I was doing theater and raising my kids the way I did. This is the answer I heard. She said, it will make dad very happy.
Oh.
And I just froze in my tracks. And I said, sweetie, seeing you happy will make dad happy.
Yes.
And my husband's not even the pushy kind.
Yeah.
Not the sort, he wasn't like that. But so children subconsciously,
somewhere she formed that opinion. She formed that opinion.
Children are already creating pressure on themselves. We are not creating pressure, not always. Some parents who are less aware will do it. Some parents like us who are a little more aware may not consciously create pressure. Then you and I have to be vigilant to see, is the child creating pressure for herself?
Yes.
The child is saying, so-and-so in my class is doing this, so I need to do this. So-and-so has also gone to art class, so I need to also do art. And I also need to sing. And I also need to be good in studies. And I have to get this score in the board exam. And I have to get into an Ivy League college. This is the pressure the child has created on herself also.
Mm-hmm.
If you and I are vigilant parents, then we'll see this. We need to see it.
Yes.
Here's the time where you step in and crack it and break that pressure, because nothing is worth your child jumping from the 13th floor, which has been happening in our city.
Yes. It's terrifying. It's terrifying.
Last 3-4 years, little kids. And it just frightens me no end. What are we doing? What are we doing to our kids?
Yes.
So at that point, I told her, listen, stop. And I had this conversation with her and I said, baby, I'm going to ask you one question. Which is the book of all your textbooks? Which is the book when you open, you smile? Which book? Any subject you study. It could be chemistry or math. When you open the book, you smile. And she said, English. And I said, what are you doing?
There's your answer right there. Yeah.
So I didn't let her do the CET.
Oh my God.
I didn't.
And I applaud you for that. That takes so much courage. Yeah, because you're literally swimming against the tide. Yeah.
Thank you. But I will tell you now, here's the thing that you need to take courage as a parent. Okay. And I'm sharing this story because people who are listening now, this will just put everything we've spoken about into perspective. I did not let my child do the CET exam because I clearly saw that her heart was not in it. She was doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
If it was a calling, great. If she was doing it for the wrong reasons, I didn't let her. She said English, I said great. She got admitted in Christ College and did her BA with journalism. Okay. So now she's done. So she's been in the science stream till ISC. Till ISC.
Well,
she's been a science student and a good student. Now she's gone and done arts. She's done the humanities. Okay, so talk about meandering. Now she's moved here. When she's in her final year and doing her final year BA exam journalism, then she says, I say, what do you want to do now? Do you want to do a master's? She says, I definitely want to do a master's. So, okay, so what do you want to do a master's in? And the kid is confused. Now I don't know. I said, perfect. Wonderful. I didn't know either. I still don't know. So let's go find out, baby. Let's go find out.
Yeah.
So we go for career counseling. And she does all the tests and finds out that she has an excellent aptitude for management. So I said, all right, do you want to try that? And she says, actually, yes, because when she sat through a counseling session, she realized that she was organizing all the events in school. She's organizing stuff at home. She was my right hand at BSSD, always organizing things for me.
Yeah.
So she said, maybe this is my thing.
Yeah.
So now let's do MBA. So now she's moved from science to arts to
masters in business.
Business, which means she had to now do accounting and commerce, which she had never done before in her life.
Yes.
She had never done it. So she had to do a lot of self-study. She got into a good MBA college. She did a lot of self-study and she managed and she did very well. Now she comes out with an MBA. Talk about meandering. See, she's finding her way in life. The point for me and for every parent who's listening to this is your child moving forward?
Correct.
Yes. Then take her. Is she not? Are you saying, oh my God, she's going here, but she was supposed to go, and then now she did arts and now she's gone here. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Breathe. She's moving forward. She hasn't
Forward.
gone back. Breathe.
Yeah.
Breathe.
Yes, yes.
She's going towards the ocean. Yeah.
Done her MBA. She gets an offer at a very good radio station. She gets an offer at some good places. And she chooses to come back and work full time with me. Now, I also try to give her perspective and say, baby, in a corporate job, there is a steady growth. There's a pattern. This is a home business. So your growth, you will grow tremendously in terms of personal growth.
Yes.
You will grow in terms of skill, ability, confidence. You will develop ownership, all of that. But I don't know about the kind of financial impetus that a corporate job gives you, whether BSSD can give you that. But her heart is this. So she comes to talk about coming full circle. So she did that.
Yeah.
But her coming to BSSD, then what happened? Because now I had an MBA who was with me.
Yeah.
She brought her perspective. We are all talking about 50 plus. Okay, I wasn't 50 plus then, but she brought in her perspective.
Correct.
And she said, okay, the world has changed, so you need to change this. So
you need to adapt. Yeah.
So now she's telling you to change. Yeah.
Methodology. She changed things. She formalized things and she created different systems and she added. So what did she get? She got the satisfaction of having shaped something. She created
something new.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, something that was existing, but she gave it shape. She defined it. She got the satisfaction of seeing her work in place.
Correct. Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And she grew with that.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And she did well also. So I'm just saying that it is scary because you want to make sure as a parent that my child is going to earn a 6-figure salary.
Correct.
My child should be able to buy and one day drive an Audi car. But you don't trust that your child will be able to listen. Shiva Mani is doing very well in life. He's a drummer.
He's a drummer. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
So why do you let him go to learn drums? But the minute he says, I want to chase this as a life career, you say, no.
Yeah.
No, this is good as a hobby, but then you got to focus on getting that 6-figure. Yeah.
I think what happens is our conversations with our children, because we're starting them young.
No, Deepma. Deepma, what I'm saying is, before we go to conversations, Deepma, I'm saying we need to stop and reset here ourselves.
We need to change ourselves. Yeah.
The conversation will fall in place. It will be fine.
Yes.
If we know where we are going.
Absolutely.
Why are we not able to let go of our fear?
Yes.
Correct.
Why are we so afraid?
Correct.
I think that's the conversation I was talking about, where I'm saying we need to, for ourselves and along with our kids, in tandem with our kids, redefine what we call success and what they call success, right? Because if success is only this one little parameter of having X amount of dollars in the bank, then you have to have like only a software job at the top level, because that's the only thing that is going to give you this kind of crazy money. But now let's talk about, like you said, with purpose, right? Let's talk about happiness. What gives you joy?
Yes, Deepma, but people are making money in
Absolutely.
film producers. People are making money doing creative work also. Today, times have changed.
Times have changed. Exactly. I think that's the thing. The environment is congenial to this kind of thinking now.
Some years back, we did not have private radio stations, and that opened out. Look what that opened.
That's done. Yeah.
There is possibility. You can tell your child, it's okay. It's lovely to dream of that 6-figure salary. It's lovely to have you want to have a dream of a house? By all means, go ahead and dream.
Yes.
Now figure out what makes you happy.
How? Yeah.
And how are you going to align that passion of yours, the love of your life, to ending up with your dream?
Yes.
Chase your happiness, the money will follow.
It will come.
We don't have a problem
Yeah.
with money, guys. We don't have a problem with money. Let it come. It's
Yeah.
prosperity.
Yeah.
But what we need to tell our kids is that there is not a particular way. There are many ways.
Many.
I think the point is, when you define your life as a student with marks, or you define your life as an adult with money, is when there is a problem. So you got to, you cannot define, money doesn't define you, your marks don't define you.
Numbers
You got to
don't
find,
define.
yeah, I think that's the whole point of this conversation, is that we have to have the purpose linked to the happiness. That is the main goal.
Just
And yeah.
You hit the nail on the head, because of like how we're always metricizing, right? We're constantly putting a metric on it. The number of marks, your size, your weight, your, everything is a number. How much money you have in the bank, how many friends you have, how many followers you have.
How many likes on Facebook?
How many likes? I know. And we were talking to a financial consultant last couple of weeks ago on our Imperfect parenting series, and she's somebody who manages other people's money, and the first thing she said is, before I even get into this conversation, please remember that money does not define you. Yes, it can lead to a lot of happiness and contentment, but it does not define you. And when you get into any kind of investment, you've got to look at it that way. So I think it's so beautiful that all of these conversations are so beautifully aligning.
Yeah. We need to ask our kids, then how do we teach this to our kids? We need to ask our kids, do you love Sachin Tendulkar because of the house he lives in and the car he drives, or because of how many runs he hit and his success on the cricket field? Obviously, you love him because what he did, he excelled in it.
Correct.
Okay, great. Do you love so-and-so actor, or you follow this fan because of his lifestyle, or because he sings really well? So-and-so star, or whatever their pop idols are. Or, is that you follow Lily Singh? Do you like her because of her lifestyle and the friends she has, or because of the content that she's creating?
Absolutely.
So that's what you need to go for. So we need to keep clearing their vision.
Correct.
Society will help them to build those blinkers. We need to keep knocking them down.
Yes.
We need to keep, and for that, we need to keep doing that to ourselves. Our reality check needs to be consistent and constant.
Absolutely.
That's beautifully said, Zulfia.
And one last thing I want to say, Seema, is also language.
Yeah.
Please, I would tell all parents, what's your language? And by this, I mean not being aggressive and abusive, but how much negativity do you use in your language? You know, with a little baby also, we say, no, you'll fall. Don't do that, you'll fall. You're predicting it. You'll fall. You said it 7 times.
Yeah.
Instead, you could have said, be careful, because you don't want to fall. You're going to walk straight. So if you walk here, you're going to be fine. You will walk straight without falling. So walk. The knife is sharp. Don't say you cut yourself. You say
yes, your language.
But if you're careful, it will never hurt you. Hold it here, it will never hurt you. Why don't we use that language?
Yes.
So with ourselves, we say, and I find myself doing that sometimes, you know, when I blunder, I make a stupid mistake, I say, Zulfia, I tell myself, my kids know it, my students know it. And the minute I do that, everyone breaks into laughter, and I look up and say, that is what you should never do.
Never do.
But we do that. So I always tell people, you should talk to yourself like you talk to your 5-year-old cousin, like you talk to your 5-year-old niece. A 5-year-old, how do you talk to her? If she breaks the most precious vase in your house, for a moment it'll go, but your first response is going to be, are you okay? Are you hurt?
Correct.
It's okay, baby. She will cry. You will say, it's okay. It's just a vase. It's okay. We'll buy another one. Come out. It's okay.
Yeah.
Why don't we say that it's okay to ourselves?
First, yeah.
Why don't we look in the mirror and say, beautiful?
Yeah.
And when we do that, our kids will learn to do it. You don't have to teach them to do it.
You don't have to
do it to yourself.
To be kind to yourself first. Yeah.
And they will learn to be kind to themselves.
Yes.
So about parenting, the key is really just walk that talk.
Correct.
So let us just learn. First, let us learn to be happy.
Yeah, and you got to communicate with the idea of understanding and with empathy and kindness. I mean, otherwise, it's not a communication. It's just a one-way. It's like a monologue, not a dialogue. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh my
Awesome.
God, this has been such an incredible conversation
I have
and
enjoyed
so
it.
many
It was
insights and yet
beautiful. It was really
so
good.
many alignments. Exactly. And what Seema always says, I think was at the center of this conversation as well. And that is, it takes a village to raise a child, right? And that's what you said too, Zulfia, is ask for help. Ask Seema auntie for that recipe. Ask so and so for that, what can I do when, such and such thing goes wrong. And as you open up with your vulnerabilities and as you open up with, I don't know it all, let's figure it out together, children
also
will be able to do it.
Yes, and also know that you can be good at 4 things.
Yes.
And 6 things you will not be good at, and that's okay, because your friend who's an amazing singer, who won that elocution competition, or who won the best speaker at MUN, cannot crack the math equation like you do. So it's okay. That's his skill. This is your skill.
So
I
don't compare.
biryani, but Deepma auntie is excellent at making something else. So I will go and learn from her. But biryani is my jam. So hey, we do different things, and that's how we live in the world.
Yes.
That's the thing we need to,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love the way you said you got to chisel out all these conversations that they're building in their head and these perceptions so that they stay real and authentic.
We should just not put ourselves on a pedestal.
Yeah.
As parents.
No, that is exactly why we call this series Imperfect Parenting, not Perfect Parenting, because we really don't believe in that at all. There is no such thing.
There's no
My
such
kids
thing.
are grown up today. My kids are grown up today. And not once. I have had several moments where I have sat them down individually and said, hey, at that point, I think I messed up. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, this is the thing about parents. They do that sometimes. Have you heard this? I've heard this sentence. You tell me if you've heard it. People say, if I've done anything wrong, beta, I'm sorry about it. What do you mean by that?
That's a dangerous
Just shut up. Then
that's very condescending. Yeah.
Don't say. If I've done something wrong, मैंने कुछ अगर कभी कहा है तो मुझे माफ कर देना. We do that with each other.
No, take ownership of the mistake you made.
Say, hey,
take ownership of it. Yeah.
When you were going to that tuition class and you were telling me that teacher's rude to you and I didn't listen to you and I forced you to go, I was wrong. I'm sorry, beta. I'm sorry. Forgive me. But you know what? I was also learning. I'm sorry.
So be kind to yourself, but own the mistake. Yeah.
Own the mistake.
Yeah.
Because you will help. Your owning your mistake because you know what?
It also heals you, right?
And whether you like it or not, Seema, whether you like it or not, your parents did damage to you when you were growing up unwittingly.
Yes. Unknowingly, yes.
But guess what? We did that to our kids.
Yeah.
We have to own up to it. Yes.
What we can do to help them heal is to say, beta, I didn't know better. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I also learned.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And it was wrong.
I was wrong.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Just no extra justifying it. I'm sorry. I was wrong. End it there. That will help them heal. We want our kids to be whole. This is the way to do it. Accept your mistakes. Be vulnerable. Bring yourself down and be real and tell them I was doing a job. And you know what? I tell them what I'm not sorry for is the times when I did what I did, what I did may have been wrong. But the motivation for it was to protect you. I'm not
protect you. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not sorry for loving you the way I did. I'm not sorry for not wanting you to be in that company because I felt that company was wrong. That I'm not sorry.
Correct.
Absolutely.
But I love you. I love you to pieces. I'm sorry when I hurt you. For those moments I hurt you. So it's, hey, listen, it's a hard job, parenting. The most unpaid.
It's very hard. And I really don't think there is a single book that is going to give you all the answers. It's not there. And which is why these kind of conversations are very critical and important, because there are so many different perspectives that we may not have thought of. And people like you who share your perspective so beautifully,
and
I think are helping.
Mistakes that we've made also.
Exactly. So learn from those mistakes, learn from our experience. And you've raised 3 beautiful children and they've grown up, and you can look back at your journey and share with others what mistakes they may be making.
And I think
that is the whole goal.
Wonderful job at Confident Community.
Thank you.
So kudos to you. You're doing wonderful. I think I love this conversation that you've begun having with parents because it's so important. because we work. Our demographic is the students, are the kids.
Yes,
We work
yes.
with the kids, but we can't fix what you
No,
teach
because we,
at home.
every time a child walks into our class, we
Yeah.
see the background. There's a baggage that they carry with them.
the
And we
whole
see
thing
it.
that comes, yeah.
And I don't think it is okay. It is physically impossible for us to reach out and counsel every single parent. But that's why we use this medium to sort of reach out to the parents to say, listen to this. This is really good stuff.
Yes.
And you have been an amazing guest.
Like you said, whatever floats your boat. So that's the reason why we're bringing in so many different personalities onto our platform.
Because
And
different
whatever
perspectives.
sticks,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever sticks. For me, my takeaway today, Zulfia, is going to be the world's putting blinkers on you and your kids.
Get rid of them.
Knock them off. Knock them off. Every time the blinker comes off, knock it off. It comes on, knock it off.
So the
I
reality
love
check,
that.
we
I
do a
take
reality check every day. That was
Yes.
I real today? Was I real today? How much of fake was in it today? Was I real today?
I love that. I want more people like you in this world, Zulfia, because I constantly struggle with the fact that there are so many fake people. I mean, those fake pictures on Instagram, those fake lives that they live, and there is no quality in being inauthentic. The honesty and that realness is what really matters. And you have reinforced my belief in it, and I am so grateful to you for that.
I am thankful for, thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm so thankful that you guys are doing what you're doing.
Thank
And
you.
it's not a small effort. It's a big effort towards making this world a better place. I'm glad
Yes, that's the idea.
Thank
you
so much, Zulfia.
Thank you very much, Seema and Deepa, and all the very best to you. May you keep growing and flourishing and keep doing what you're doing, because you're bang on.
Yes, and we need to have a cup of coffee together. We are in the same city, got to meet. So we'd love to go, kind of connect with you.
Probably, yeah, we can start with coffee. It's going to lead to lunch, and lunch will lead to.
I'm sure. That sounds like a beautiful day. That sounds like a good day spent. Thank you, Zulfia.
Thank you, Zulfia.
Take care.